Hello everyone, hope you're having an amazing Tuesday or Wednesday if you're in a different country. Today I want to show you something about how to connect a URL to a drop-down. There are different ways to do it, but based on a comment that I just got today, which it was that the person wants the drop-down to, once selected, go to an external URL. That's what I'm gonna show you. But at the same time, once we completed that part, I'm also gonna show you a more advanced way to connect the drop down to a repeater. And this is something that I haven't shown on other videos. So definitely this is gonna be very useful. It's very simple. It's advanced, but it's very simple. So first we're gonna start by making sure that your developer mode is on. And if it's not on, you have to turn it. And then once you do that, you're gonna go to input, and then we're gonna add a drop down. Now, once you add the drop down, this is very important. Sometimes I get these comments that, oh, something didn't work. And the reason why some things don't work is for two things. One is, even though you connected something, sometimes the system might undo it. So you always have to verify again that everything is connected right. The second thing is the IDs. If you have added a ID or a code, you just copy it from one of the resources I give you, then make sure that you update everything, and I'm gonna show you what to look for. So that way, if you have a different ID name, you change it, or you change it on the code. That way you won't have those issues. And the third reason why you have some problems sometimes with this is because you might have forgotten to add in the handle, or when you added the handle, it was on a different ID. And sometimes you won't see the error, so you were not even gonna know that that's what happened. So this is the code that we're gonna use, and you have access to this specific code on this link right here. I'm gonna put it also on the description, but I just want to show you where it is. So when you go onto our website right here, you want to select this one right here, which is code for external URL links, and then it should look something like this. Let me bring it here. It should look like that. So all you have to do is copy this, and then you can do it on different ways. You don't have to add the code first and then add the drop down, or vice versa. In this case, it doesn't matter which one you add first. But let's say if this is how you started, there's nothing there, then all you have to do is just copy your code. Make sure once your drop down is right here, you paste your code, and that's it, right? So as you can see right now, there's no errors on the code because this drop down right here is named 1. But let's say if this one was named something like drop down 5, right? And you have these errors, then you have to update it on the code. So we're gonna change, instead of here, we're gonna change it to 5 because the ID of this drop down is 1. So I mean it's 5. So we gotta change it on the code. Now the other option is that you change, instead of touching the code, you gotta make sure you change the ID. Also, sometimes you might have a little dot or little comma, and if you delete it by accident, sometimes that also could cause a problem. So if nothing is working, make sure you delete the code, add it again. And also there's certain things that don't work on the preview, so you have to actually publish the page and see it on the live version, because if not, it's gonna look like it's not working, but it's just not connected. So as you can see, I already have 3 options right here, which is United States, Australia, Canada, and Mexico. So let's say you want to add a 4th option. All you have to do is just copy this one right here, and then don't add it at the bottom of this one. You have to add it in between these two or after this one. So not in front of this one, but on this one, and then just paste it right there. And now we're gonna rename the value, the fields, and then the values. So here This one we're gonna name it Bitzel, okay, because that's what we wanted to show. On this one we're gonna change the name to, let's say, Google. This one we're gonna name it YouTube, and it can be lowercase, that part doesn't matter. And then here we can also do like Yahoo, okay, right there. So right here, that's the link that I want to use. Right here I want to update this one to be Google, and then right here this is YouTube, so I can just change it to YouTube, and then this one is gonna be Yahoo, and that's it. Now we have all our things here. Now what we're missing is we need to make sure that we add a handle to this drop down. So we click on the drop down, and then we're gonna go on change, and then we're gonna add it. Now once you do that, you're gonna notice he added it right here. And remember what I mentioned about making these little errors. As you can see right now, there's no error right here, but because the name of this drop down is 5 and the code right here on this section is drop down 1 under change, this one needs to change. Instead of 1, needs to be 5, because that's the name of ID of this drop down. So now it's giving us an error, and that's because there's 2 already. So we gotta delete this one that was just added when we add the handle, and that error is gone. So it should look something like this. Now let's say you don't want to use all this 4, you can just delete whatever you don't need from here. And now we're gonna click publish, and then we're gonna go right here on this SEO option right here to look at the URL. So once we're here, you can see it's the names are there. So if I select on Bitzel, it changes and it takes me to the page. If I go back here and I change Google, it will take me to Google, right? If I go back and I go to YouTube, it will take me to YouTube. And then I can go back to Yahoo. It takes me to Yahoo. So as you can see there, the drop down is working. So now we're just gonna leave that open, and we're gonna add the other option that I mentioned. So that's one way to do it. Then let's say this one, we're gonna name it something else, like URL resources. Okay. I don't know if I spell it right, but resources. And then we're gonna add a new drop down. And then this one, what we're gonna do here is we're gonna change it to services. So we're gonna do something like this. We're gonna add a dynamic page. So we're gonna go to list. I'm gonna add a blank dynamic page here. And as you can see, I have 3 options, but it doesn't matter because we're gonna connect it to a collection. So let's design this really quick. I'm gonna add an image. So we're just gonna type job, and then let's select that one. I'm gonna attach it right here. And then once you do that, we're gonna also add a text. So we can do this text right here. And then we're gonna add a button. So we're gonna add this button right here. So what I'm gonna use right now, it's the collection that you already have on this page, which is services. And when you go to services, I'm gonna show you what it looks like. So I have all these dummy data right here. And then the things that I added right now were just this field, which is URL. So how do you do this? Is just open a new tab. You can name it URL resources, for example, if let's say you want to do that. And then on the field type, you gotta make sure you select URL and then save. And the reason why I added this name URL names is because I'm gonna show you how you can use this name to be able to work together. Okay, so let's do this. So we're gonna close this now, and then we're gonna go to the content manager. We're gonna go to add elements, and right here we're gonna do a data set. Once you do that, just click on settings, and under settings you're gonna select the name of your collection. I only wanna display 6 items, and then that's it. Now this part right here, all we gotta do is just connect this image. We're gonna connect it to our right collection. So let me move this right here. So we're gonna do service data set, and then the image, we're gonna go to image right here. And if you want people, whenever they click the image, you can also click link connects to, and then you can have it be connected to something. In this case, because we already have a title, it can take them to that specific profile, or you can also go to that specific URL that you already have. So let's do both. If they click on the image, it's gonna take them to the page that we already have in our dynamic collections. And then right here on this title, before we connect it, let's actually make this a little smaller. And then we're gonna connect this to the data set service. The text is gonna be title, and that's how we have it. Now the button right here, we're gonna go to connect to data. You're gonna go to click to action, and we want them to go to the external URLs that we have on our collection, right? And then the label, we want the label to be the name of the URL. So in this case, we name it URL names. So now let's see what it looks like. Everything is not gonna work yet because we still gotta add a little bit of code. But as you can see here, we had to do it on the live version because it's not gonna show us on the preview one. And as you can see, I have the image, professional makeup, and then YouTube, Google, Short Pixel. As you can see, it changed the label of your button, so you didn't have to go and change each button. It literally name it anything you have on your collection. So if I click on this one, it's gonna take me to the URL that I already have there. But if I go back here, if I click on the image, it's gonna take me to this page right here that's already on my website. So you literally can do multiple things with this option. Now, the fun part that we're gonna be doing right now is we're gonna be connecting the dropdown. So this is the part I mentioned before that's gonna be very simple. So we're gonna go back to the editor, and all you have to do is, if you go to choices, you have this. So don't worry about this, you can ignore them. You're gonna go to connect to data. Then you're gonna select your data set. If you have multiple ones, make sure it's that one. Then you're gonna go to connect list items. And right here, we wanna connect it to service data set one more time. So as you can see, you connect it twice. Then the label, we want it to go to title. And once we do that, we can just click publish. So at least you get to see what it's gonna look like. So let's go to the specific URL. And as you can see, I have the services. So now it's showing me all the titles inside my collection. Okay. And then we're gonna go back here, and now we're gonna add the code. We're gonna open this. So I have the code again. I'm gonna give it to you on another link, and then you're gonna paste it right there. So as you can see, this one is giving you an error because the name of this specific dropdown is dropdown 6. So we have to update this. So before we do anything, we gotta check this right here. And again, you have two options. You can change it on the code, or you can change it on this. So first we want to make sure we go to on change. So let me go here. Now select your service, and then you're gonna go on change, and then you're gonna add the event, right? So we're gonna leave it as Dropdown 6. We don't have to worry about that. We're gonna delete this, and now right here we're gonna update this to Dropdown 6. This one right here where it says Dropdown 1, we're gonna also change it to Dropdown 6. And then now we're getting closer. Now the repeater, when you click on this repeater, the name of this one is repeater 1. So we can just change this one also to repeater 1. And then right here, you're gonna notice this one says properties. So that's the name of your collection. So what we wanna do is we wanna go to Content Manager, Manage Content, and find your collection. Now here it says services, but if for some reason you have changed the name or anything, to be safe, click on these three little dots, edit settings, and then make sure the collection ID is services and it's with a capital S. So we're gonna go maximize this, and then we're gonna go on this option right here. So services. So now it should look like that. So let's publish this and start testing it out. So we're gonna refresh this page, and as you can see, we have the external URLs, but also we have our drop down. So if I want to only see the services on manicure, it will just show me the services that are on manicure. Now if in this case it's not working, there's probably an error, so we gotta see why it's not working. So we're gonna go back. So when things like that happens, just keep that in mind, that there's some things that you're gonna look for. Okay, so we're gonna go here. Okay, so the first thing I do is I make sure that the code, it looks good, right? There's no errors. So on the handle, I'll click on my drop down. I make sure it's the Dropdown 6 under change. This one is the same. Then the collection is services, so I already verified that. Then the property name, right? So also this is another error right here, because I took this code, I copy paste. Usually when you type the code from scratch, then it's less likely that these errors happen because you're paying attention to those things. But because you copy and paste, these are the things that commonly happen. Now here, this is what's called the field key. So you need to replace this one because we're trying to display the ones on the title, right? So we're gonna go to Content Manager, gonna go to your collection, and because we wanna display the title names, so we're gonna go under properties, and you're gonna find your field key. In this case, is title. Let's say if you were to use something else like, let's say this one right here, the URL names, right? So let's say instead of you using the title, you want to use this option, you'll do the same thing. You're gonna find your field key, and then you're gonna copy that, and then you're gonna replace it right here on this section right here. So that one, it should just say title. So now I find my error, but before I even go and try one more time, I'm gonna make sure that this one haven't been disconnected, because again, sometimes the system does it. So I go here, and as you can see, it's disconnected. So I'm just gonna select that. It should look like that again. And now I can close it, publish, and now it should work. So we're gonna go here, gonna refresh the page, and we're gonna test this one first. So we're gonna test our top URL, drop down. So it's right there, so it's working, right? And then when I go to services, if I select manicure, it only will display the manicure. If I go to cosmetic, it shows me that one. And then facial. So as you can see, it will display only the item that I'm looking for. So that way, these drop downs are very useful, not just for searching, But if in the event that you're trying to do something a little bit more advanced, like for example, this, I'm gonna show you where it's very useful. We're gonna go to this one right here. So let's say you're trying to create a custom form where you can update things, right? So if I go to update here, and then I have a custom form, instead of having people to go and look for so many items, because let's say you have so many different properties, you can just use this to show and display items in that specific repeater. So that's what that's one way to use it. So keep that in mind. Again, hopefully this helped you. And if it was confusing, please let me know in the comments. You can also reach me and I'll be very happy to help you. Now for this code right here, the one that we just added, again, is very simple. But this is gonna be for the update listing dropdown. And if you also wanna find it, you can go to the page bitso.com/giveaway. Then you can go to codes for the classify. So when you go here, you're gonna find it on this one right here, single drop down for repeater. So it's this one right here. So you can just literally copy that one right there. And again, you already know how to find the other one for the external URL links is this one right here. And that one will download a Word file. So thank you for the support. Let me know if you have questions and have an amazing week.